Test, test.
Test.
Alrighty. So I am focusing on the Hawks right now. Kind of finishing off all of the major rotation players, getting all their ratings and badges done. I'm probably going to update player tendencies during the All-Star break in like about a month. And so far I've got the Sixers, Bucks, Bulls, Cavs, Celtics, Clippers, Grizzlies. I got all their major players done for the most part, with like maybe one or two key bench players that I haven't touched yet. But really, I'm just trying to focus down like all the starting lineups for these teams, whatever they are now. Like for example, Kevin Huerter is the starting two guard for the Hawks. Bogdanovic right now is hurt. Also, Bogdanovic probably getting traded, I think, at the deadline in a couple weeks. That's just my guess. Let me finish off Hunter's badges. He's only got 10. Like, the badges are really bad by 2K. The middle tier is usually very lacking. Like, it doesn't make sense for Trae Young to have, mid-40s badges, and then everybody else on the team only has, like, 10. But then you'll randomly have like Lou Williams with 30 badges because he's somebody that they worked on the badges for like 5 years ago or whatever. So there's a whole bunch of players that they just haven't, they're not like actively updating them every year. TLC would be another example of a player. Like, he was starting for a while for the team, and he's been in the league like 5 years already now, and he's only got 3 badges. You could probably find a couple more to throw on him. John Collins only has 17 badges in the 2K roster. You could probably find a few more to put on him. But yeah, I'm just going to be going through. And let's let me head over to Hunter's badges in my document. Actually, before I do that, because I'm actually updating my document as I go through this. 2422. Okay, as I found, this is the easiest way for me to update badges throughout the year, or from year to year, I should say, is to see what 2K has been changing. There are a couple badges that got added to the PS4 version this year, so this is also how I'm tracking that. That DeAndre Hunter got posterizer. Sure, I guess. Let's see. Catch and shoot. I've actually downgraded him to a bronze. None of these are new.
Good morning, 2K roster man.
I gotta turn my TV volume down. Jeez. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know who that is, but what's up, Chris? Alright, don't think I would recommend any changes here. Alright, like half of the entire league has fucking glue hands at like a silver. Ditto for like bullet passer. These are the most throwaway badges in the game. Pretty much every player has them. Defense, hustler, and pogo stick. Those are the only ones. I kind of disagree with that assessment. Looks like they took a couple off of him, actually, from last year. Also, let me know if you can hear me okay. I've got my mic maybe a little too far away from me. Maybe this is a little better. Alright, let's hop in. I don't think I'm going to add a ton to Hunter, but there's certainly a few things. Finishing. This is actually at an all-time low.
We hear you all right.
Last year I would have given him like a bronze or something, but this year he's not really getting to the line at all. Yeah, I'll just skip to shootings where he gets most of his damage done. Drop him there. Difficult shots. Actually, hold on. I need to. I redefined how I do this badge because the Circus 3's badge was added this year, so it kind of split the badge in half, if that makes sense. Alright, here we go. Yeah, so I'm going to give him a silver, which was I gave him last year. He's close to getting like Circus 3's, but also kind of not. All right, but the silver is legit. He is a good mid-range shooter. Other than that, I don't think there's really a ton. Let's give him like set shooter maybe. To help with like his overall consistency. It does take a lot of spot ups. And then by that same regard, sniper I think makes sense. I just want to reiterate that like bronze really doesn't have that much of an impact on the gameplay. Like a player will perform like 2% better with bronze than whereas if they had no badge. It isn't until you get to the higher badge tiers where it starts having like a major impact on the gameplay. Playmaking, he's having a career low passing season, so we'll skip on that. And I think he gets pick dodger, clamps. Not terribly sure on the rest. He doesn't get a lot of blocks or steals, which doesn't mean he's a bad defender. Probably quite the opposite. I'm gonna put tireless defender as like a bronze because he does play a fair amount of minutes. I don't think he's a good enough rebounder for anything, right? No, he's not a good rebounder. Off-ball pest, maybe. Yeah, I'll give him a off-ball pest. All right. All right, 17 low-level badges. I think that's fine. Hunter still has a lot to prove as a player. All right, so let's move on to Kevin Huerter.
Was there a roster update on Thursday?
There was. It was I guess a significant update because they hadn't updated in a month, but also kind of underwhelming given that they hadn't updated in a month, so they could have gotten more done. All right. Let me back out of this. Hold on. I just prefer editing ratings is so much easier from the quick edit menu. Kind of the way things are structured. You can see more ratings than from the main screen. For example, all right. Huerter. I think I'm dropping his. Yeah, he's shooting a little worse from 3. It's basically shooting what he did last season. 80 from the line, sure. Mid-range, I'll look into that in a second. Yeah, close shot, yep, that should be a 99. He's very good from there. Dunking, ooh, okay. This is gonna drop. He's only dunked once this year in 1,100 minutes. He was usually good for, he dunked 24 times in his rookie year, and then 10 and then 9, so 1 is a major decrease. And realistically, he should have been lower than a 65 last year. So I'm going to say that like last year, he should have been at like a 60. And I'm like dropping him to a 55 or 50. Especially when you consider that like he's a 6'7" shooting guard that's like only 1 dunk in 1,000 minutes. That's crazy. Definitely more of a finesse finisher. Let's see what else. His steal rate is bottomed out. It's pretty bad. So last year would have been a 71. I think 62 is probably fine. Rebounding. I'll boost his defensive rebounding a little bit. Pass ratings. Let's see. He is pass rate slightly lower than last year. I'm gonna call it a wash. His assist to turnover ratio is worse, but still better than like 2 to 1. So I should actually drop his pass accuracy a little bit. Should be noted that for all the changes we're making, nothing's really affecting his overall rating. That's going to come once we do the badges. Layups. He's 72% on layups this year. Not like a high volume or anything, but definitely a better percentage than he had the last couple of years. Last year he was at 47%. Year before that, 50%. Yes, all right. So much improved there. I'm gonna call this an 85.
I want a sausage McMuffin.
Great. I don't. You know, like I actually don't live within the closest McDonald's is like 2 miles away from me. Even though I live in New York City, which is weird. Hence, I have been able to stay away from things like sausage McMuffins.
Are you a Knicks fan?
That's a difficult question to answer. I've watched the Knicks for 25 years, but I struggle to call myself a fan, and I'm not actively watching their games. I no longer am interested in like if the Knicks win the title, I would be happy for them, but it wouldn't be like when I was a kid where I would have been I would have lost my fucking mind. I am first and foremost an NBA fan. There are some teams that I prefer more than others, but I think I'm well beyond like standing for one particular team. Okay, I think from here I jump into the player.
Same here, I am not a fan of any team, just an NBA fan.
Yeah, I'd imagine that anybody who's interested in roster work, it's usually because they're a fan of the NBA at large. What am I looking for? Well, I guess his handwriting is his handwriting okay? Maybe that goes up. Yeah, sure. We'll 85 it. You don't really turn the ball over. Just tweak that. Okay, 75 hustle. Where are them hustle stats at? Well, he was top 5 on the team in deflection rate last year, so I think I'm gonna give him a 75. I think I'm okay giving him a 90. Okay, durability. This has been one of my favorite attributes to update this year, because 2Ks are so bad. They haven't touched these in like years, and pretty much every player just has like a stock like 80 or 84 or something as soon as they get added to the game. Because now I just crunch them based on games played and stuff in real life. So 200. Entering this season, Kevin Huerter had played in 200 games of a possible 82, 67, 72, of a possible 221. Which is 90%. So we'll give him a 90. I thought Well, he got hurt in his second season, but then I guess he played 69 of a possible 72 last year to kind of salvage that. So, yeah, and this is not factoring this season where he's played 38 of a possible 45. Maybe after this season he goes down to like an 85 or something. We'll see. But I'm okay with especially younger players being like higher durability. All right, pick and roll defense. These have not been updated in like 3 years, so let's do that. Okay. All right, ratings on him are officially done. And it's worth noting the 2K's got him at a 76, so I have him as a +3 right now. We're about to do his badges. It wouldn't surprise me if Huerter hit an 80. Well, we'll see. 0920. Okay. So no finishing badges whatsoever. Silver catch and shoot. Silver slippery, which I'm going to downgrade. Corner, which I'm going to upgrade. Blinders is new. Difficult shots, which I think I'm upgrading. Let's see. Huerter. It's borderline. Very borderline. Very borderline, man. Could go either way with bronze or silver. What did I gave DeAndre Hunter a silver. DeAndre Hunter's definitely a silver. I'm gonna go bronze with difficult shots for Huerter. Circus threes. Does he have that? He does not. All right, so we're gonna add circus threes to him. That's basically where last year I gave him a silver because I didn't have circus threes. Last year it was an all-encompassing badge. This year it's specifically for the mid-range difficult shots is. So let's see, Deadeye, Control F not found. We're gonna add that. I gave him, or I'm sorry. Maybe he doesn't get that eye actually. Hold on. I think I just made a typo. Let me just verify that. Yeah, I made a typo. Okay. Should he get it? No, not really. No Deadeye for Huerter.
I think it would be good to make a video specifically about players who are missing badges, just saying.
That's like the entire league. It would be, I guess, more productive to like make a video about like a specific badge where a bunch of players are missing it, or discussing like how I approach the badge versus how 2K approaches the badge, and like where the holes are in their philosophy. Because pretty much every player in the game you could add, aside from like the stars, you could add 10 badges to without blinking.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna give him Hot Zone Hunter. Also, some of these badges kind of like pair together. Green Machine and Hot Zone Hunter are usually one of those. Pro Touch and like Acrobat, I think, are another. Or Pro Touch and something. It might have been something from last year that they got rid of this year. But Yeah, I think it was Pro Touch and Consistent Finisher. Consistent Finisher is no longer a badge in the game, um, which means most likely they consolidated them. Limitless, spot up. Yeah, that's a bronze. What do you think, set shooter? Should I give him rhythm shooter? I guess that is one of the new badges that I've got to consider. And for that, I just generally look at players like assist rate on threes, how often they're assisted. So Huerter's assisted 87% of the time on his threes, which to me doesn't mean that he's really creating all that many. He's not breaking anybody down off the dribble. You could maybe give him stop and pop, which is boost shot rating on standstill threes after dribbling. But as far as like breaking guys down off the dribble, we will pass on that. And I wonder, he had one of those crazy, should he get clutch shooter? I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have it, because 2K generally gives those to like guys who have like big playoff games or whatever, and he definitely had one of the bigger playoff games in franchise history. Just looking at his, oh no, this is his closest defender stats, not his clutch. Misclick. Here we go, clutch. Waiter. On the regular season, no, he wouldn't have gotten it. In the playoffs, again, it's like kind of an uneven barometer, because the NBA looks at clutch as like but within a point differential is like 5 points, and like the last 5 minutes of a game or overtime. So Huerter only played 24 clutch playoff minutes last year, of which he went 2 for 3. So they don't have quite the same barometer that like 2K does. This season, conversely, he's played 41 clutch minutes. He's 5 for 11 from the field. Decent. But there's not like anything crazy to I'm not going to really give him a badge off of any of this data. Yeah, I will pass. Let's head over to playmaking. He probably needs more than 2 of these, is my guess. As mentioned previously, pretty much every player in the league has bronze bullet and silver glue. As far as the rest, I'm going to give him needle threader. These are a little, like, you kind of have to watch the player to give out a lot of stuff like hyperdrive, quick chain, tight handles, special delivery, which is lob passing. Actually, you know what? You can kind of infer. I'm going to give him special delivery, because you can infer that from like the lob rates of John Collins and Clint Capella on this team. But yeah, all right. And then no defensive badges. All right, let's jump in. So, no finishing badges. It is worth noting again that we boosted his layup rating 10 points. I don't know if what I'm supposed to read into with this year. Probably got to watch a little more tape to figure out. maybe something I can actually do is I'm gonna load up his shooting splits on NBA.com, and I'm gonna check his teardrop stats. AKA floaters. 31. He's taken 36 floaters this year in, what was his minute total? 1107. So 36, 1107 times 36 minutes. Yeah, I'll give him a bronze. For teardropper. The rest of this is kind of a little hard to say. Let's do slithery finisher. And that's probably it, to be honest. Maybe unstrippable. It's probably not necessary. Post scoring, nothing. All right, let's move on to shooting. He's not a big time driver, so I'm okay with him having like 2 bronzes or whatever. All right, this is silver. This I decided to leave it bronze. This we're dropping to bronze. That's gonna get a bronze. And that's a bronze. Okay. Alright, nothing crazy. He is a low-level shooter. He boosted his passing a little bit with needle threader and special delivery. I'm going to check his isolation play data for this year. No, he doesn't take guys off the dribble that much. Only like 3% of his possessions for his career. So we don't got to give him any of that stuff. I think we can move on to defense. And what kind of defender is he? Not really a good individual defender per se. More like a team defender. All right, well, we bumped him up to an 80, and yeah, we added 9 badges to him. I like the 80 because it gets him a point above Gallinari. And right now he's a point above Bogdanovic. That might change once we dive into Bogdanovic right now. Tied with Huerter's fine. Yeah, I think we should get into Bogey now. Might have lost audio. Let me see. Alrighty. I'm gonna unplug my controller. I found that sometimes that causes issues with the streams. And Bogey's still not back yet, right? No, he's out today. Okay. All right, so shooting wise, this is tough. So shooting wise, he's 10 of 25 in mid range this year. 40%. He's a career 45% mid range shooter. So I'm just gonna chalk that up to sample and just like leave his. I'm gonna leave this as is. He's only at 35% from 3 this year. Last year, he was a career high 44%. He's 39% for his career. So, like, 84, that's fine for his career rate. I do think that we want to penalize him a little bit for this year's, like, poor shooting performance. And I'm just not really sure, like, how much. I'm going to drop him 1 point right now, which doesn't seem like much, but kind of is. Layups. 80's fine. He's definitely below Kevin Huerter. It only takes like 2 per game. Alright, where's the post stuff? 62 hook. Fade. I like that the shooter has a lower fadeaway shot than his fucking hook shot. It's wild. Just conceptually. Those are fine. Athleticism is definitely a little underrated. 2K usually has the guards a little too low. Stamina. We'll see. Hold on. Might play around a little bit with that. And then 67 hustle. Jeez, that's low. You know what's funny is Huerter was 6th or 5th on the team in deflections last year. Bogey was 6th. So I'm not going to give him a 67. I think 85 is totally reasonable. I don't even think pick and roll affects overall rating. Like, it's just blank at 76. So hold on, let me. I don't think Boogie gets. He's hurt this year, but he generally didn't get hurt much before earlier in his career. So he's played 4 times 82, minus 10 games for last year, minus 10 games for 2020, 308. Okay, possible 308 games in his career, and he played 253 of them, which is 82%. So yeah, an 80 is pretty fine. Okay, his ratings are done. Badges 0, 13, 2, 0. So many players with like a bunch of shooting badges. They really don't know how to do these two. They have a bunch of stats for finishing and shooting, but like playmaking and defense, they really are just like completely hit or miss on. Hold on. All right, so no finishing badges. A bunch of silvers and shooting. Let's see, difficult. Silver. This is actually an upgrade from last year, but I'm gonna raise it even higher to a gold. Stop and pop is new. Volume shooter, silver. Yeah, that's fine. Bronze blinders is fine. Only bronze catch and shoot. Yeah, they're not terribly consistent with this. He's got clutch shooter bronze. Okay. Deadeye bronze. Hot zone bronze. Lucky number 7. Fucking nonsense ass badge. Rhythm shooter. Sad shooter. Alright. So the only badges he doesn't have are Fade Ace, Chef, Limitless Spot Up, which I think I'm giving him, and Mismatch Expert. And corner specialist, I think. Yeah, he does not have corner specialist. Does he deserve it? Well, 26% of his shots are from the corner. Last year, 22%. He hit 56% last year. 17% of his threes. 43% accuracy for his career. Yeah, definitely should have some level of corner specialist. I'm surprised he doesn't have it this year based on how good he was last season. As always, just a bronze is fine. Bullet and glue, surprise, surprise. Okay. badges I gave him last year. Rather than crunch that right now, I'm just going to assume that I am smart. It's difficult shots. I got to check once again. Oof. Same exact stats as Kevin Huerter, so I think I'm gonna just bronze both of them and call it a day. This is also an argument for possibly raising Huerter. But I think given Bogey's struggles this season, I think I'm more in favor of decreasing him for the moment. Circus 3 is being... Oh no, Circus 3 is going to be an addition. And yeah, just a bronze because he's struggling this year. Slippery is a gold. And then no other changes. Playmaking. Do Space Creator. Does take a fair amount of step backs. And then defensively, nothing. Yeah, I guess. He's really slipped a lot this season, but he's basically on par with Huerter. Alright, so exactly 20 badges. Identical to Huerter, it's fine. One's a 79, one's an 80, but that's only because of the intangibles boost that I gave to Huerter, which I might be taking off of him. Now I gotta crunch a little bit. See where I've got him rated relative to like the rest of the league. I think I'm okay with both of these guys at 79 rather than both of these guys at like an 80, given that they're both kind of struggling a little bit. And certainly the Hawks are not a good team this year either. That's also a factor. So I guess next now would be TLC, who's only got 3 badges. 2K only has him at a 72 overall. I think I'm okay with him as like a 75. Maybe he would go to a 76 if I tweak him a little bit, but okay to dive in and...
How about a favorite player? Do you have one?
I guess it might be LeBron James at this point, just because I admire, like his place in history, like how he approaches life and the game. I think would be my answer. And he plays the game the right way, like to a T. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing at this age just shows like how like kind of skill and IQ oriented he's been like his entire career. He doesn't need the crazy athleticism that a lot of other players have needed. It doesn't hurt that he's also built his body in such a way that he's playing center right now in certain lineups. And 2 years ago, he was a point guard. I don't think there's a player in NBA history, sans like Magic Johnson, that you could have really said that about. I also think that Joker is a joy to watch, probably. But only the highlights, because defensively, it's a different story. As a general rule, if a player is good at passing the ball, I will probably like them. Like Jason Kidd, I think, was like my original favorite player, and I guess I like Chris Paul, etc. Yeah, I was always a.
Jokic is my favorite right now, but LeBron is my favorite all time.
Yeah, there's something about like sharing the ball. I mean, it's important to running the like you can't in today's NBA. You can't be an ISO-centric player like a Stephon Marbury or an Allen Iverson. Those are probably the player types that I hated the most. Just because I thought it was like terrible basketball to watch, and I never thought that they were all that good. Like, Iverson became the blueprint for like the Russell Westbrook, the modern Russell Westbrook. One player dominating the ball with 4 defensive players around him, and you can win 50 games. And maybe you can sneak into the finals if the rest of your conference sucks, but otherwise you're probably going to be like a second-round team.
Heliocentric.
Yep. Yeah, I like Luka more than Russell Westbrook. They're both highly, high heliocentric players because just Luka's, he's a better shooter, so he doesn't kill his team as much by doing it. And B, I think he's just a more natural passer than like a player like Westbrook ever was. All right, let's hop into TLC. Or let's not. Let me review his stats. All right, let's look at layups. Only 38% this year, 9 of 24. Obviously a small sample, but that's not a great sign. I'm actually going to decrease that by 5 points. I think is reasonable. dunks this year. Missed his only mid-range shot. And 6 of 13 from close. So close to 50%. Oh, where he's got a 53. Okay. Again, small samples. He's only taken 117 shots this year, so I'm not going to go nuts over any of this. It's probably more useful to look at his multi-year production. So his last 3 years, he's 44% from mid. I'm just going to use his career rate. And this will be helpful a little moving forward, I think. I'm going to adjust this down to a 64. I think that's a lot more accurate. Close range, this year's kind of an aberration. He was dreadful last season. For his career, he definitely deserves lower than a 50, but I will err on the side of, I'll just say the 53 is fine. Like, he realistically would be like a 45 for his career. 79.3, he is 35% this year. Last year, 31%. Year before that, 39%. For his career, he's 33%. 79 is probably reasonable. Just leave him at. And free throws, he's 83 for his career, so whatever. Free throw rate. Last year was a career low, so we'll probably boost that up. I'll tweak it up by 5. This rating actually has a lot of value towards the overall rating. Like, or so I thought. Maybe not for shooting guards or small forwards. Passing. This is way overrated. It's not really, most wings aren't really playmakers. They're usually 3-and-D guys, so. Otherwise, he's pretty much the same as last year with the Nets, so I don't think there's a ton to change. Stamina. I'm gonna see what he did in his starts this year. He played 26 minutes a game in his starts, so yeah, 85 is totally reasonable. 78 hustle. Who did he play for last year? Just the Nets? Just the Nets. All right. So this might go up. Well, he didn't actually get that many deflections with the Nets. ditto for like loose ball recovery. So let's see where he's at with the Hawks this year. Yeah, slightly better, but not really. He's fine. This one's going to be a little tricky. Because he spent some time out of the league also, I think. Alright, so he's played 5 seasons. So 5 times 82, and then minus 20 is 390 possible games. But he was out of the rotation a bunch, and I think he was unsigned in 2019. I'll check that out by just referencing his game log. Yeah, let's see, 2019, he started the season with the Thunder. He was kind of out of the rotation by December of that year, and then as soon as he got traded to the Bulls, he became a fixture in their rotation. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm going to give a minus 25 reduction to his games played total based on 2019. This is why I enjoy doing the durability ratings, because it gives me something to like actually crunch and like put my own personal stamp on it. All right, so I've got his potential games played then to 365. Because what we're really trying to figure out is games missed due to injury, not games missed due to sucking. Let me see. So that was 2019. That was 2018. Looks like I think he got hurt towards the end of that year. And then 2020, he signed last year late, I think. Or no, he was a two-way player to start the year. That's right, okay. And then played his way onto like a standard deal. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so 22 games in 2020. I can just reference. I can check his G League stats also. Yeah, he played 9 G League games with the Nets in 2020. So yeah, 2020. I'm gonna give him minus 20. Also, so 345 possible games at the NBA level. And he played 276 games coming into this season. So he played 80% of games. Or he's been healthy for 80% of his games. Let's put it that way. So that is an 80 durability. As mentioned before, every player in the league pretty much has these two badges. So, once again, no finishing badges for TLC. I think I'm gonna rock with that. Oh, you know, I didn't check his dunk stat this year. He's up to 3.5% of his possessions, which is the highest mark in a couple of years. But nothing I'd really hang my hat on or anything. If anything, maybe I'd just boost his dunk rating. I didn't really look at that. Well, I didn't decrease his dunk rating the last 2 years, so he's totally fine at the 65 that I got him at. As far as the rest, nothing here I would give him to. And again, he really didn't. He's not scoring well in layups this year either. So, okay. Corner specialist. Yep. Slippery. Yep. And that's probably it. Maybe set shooter? Sure. Set shooter is one of those ones that I think I'm going to start treating like 2K treats glue hands and bullet. Like pretty much anybody who's a wing in the NBA should have set shooter, I think. Not really a playmaker or a passer, so let's skip over to defense. Just give him like 2 badges, I think.
Thoughts on Kemba Walker?
He's Lou Williams for the second half of his career. You know, undersized microwave scorer. Probably shouldn't be starting, should embrace a 6-man role, as that's also what would help him stay healthy, probably. But I don't know. I think I don't know if he gets another contract after this one. I think he might be on borrowed time, because part of, you know, he needs to be able to stay healthy, and I don't know if it's going to be worth it for him to play for minimum contracts, you know. I mean, it could be, like, yeah, if he wants to play 15 minutes a game on a contender and ring chase, sure, I think that's going to be in his future for like the back end of his career. But I think his days of making like actual money and playing a starter's role on a team are probably done after next season. All right, 8 badges, 4 TLC, and a 74 rating. Am I okay with 74? Yeah, he's not really like... He's definitely the definition of like a replacement player. Statistically, he's had maybe like 1 good year. And good, like, being in quotation marks. He's just not good enough of a shooter / scorer. Oh, you know what? Oh no, I'm not going to give him Hustler. I think I'm just done with him. Yeah. I'm okay with the 74. Alright, he's playing 14 minutes a game, which is basically the same as Lou Williams. They've both played 30 games, essentially. And Lou Williams, who I got at a 75, so... You know... I'm also doing that to prop him up, but... It's more formula than anything. I think I'm okay with that. Let's move on to Onyeka Okongwu. Oh, hold on. Actually, before I do that, did I do Dylan right? Did I do his badges? I did. I just didn't notate it. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm going to finish up with Onyeka Okongwu, who is... He's been the starting center for the Hawks with Clint Capella sidelined. And given that Clint Capella's pretty likely to get traded at the deadline, I think, Okongwu's also a former lottery pick of the team. Like, pretty reasonable bet to start for the rest of the year for the team. It's also just as likely that they trade Okongwu, I guess, at the deadline, but certainly he is a promising player. Now that he's back from injury, we do have some stuff to go off with him.
Hey, how are you? Wanted to know if you also rotation minutes for each team?
If I wrote them? Oh, if I also rotation minutes for each team. So I normally, anytime I make a rating edit, I just hit the rebuild button and do that. This is what's going to happen anytime you start a roster or anything like, or not a roster, a my league, a my career, or whatever. Is the game basically rebuilds every rotation based on the available players, and it does it. I've had to all of my rotations are great for the most part, relative to like what they are in the actual NBA. Using 2K's own thing, because I do a lot of manipulation using the force non-starter to prevent the wrong guys from starting. 2K does not use this, and it causes their My Leagues to be bad. So so reasons for like these two guys having it is when John Collins was out of the lineup. For example, Gallinari was not starting. Neither was Jalen Johnson. It was, I believe, Solomon Hill, who's no longer on the team. In this instance, it probably would fall to like Kevin Knox, is my guess.
What is up real to consider?
Or TLC with like DeAndre Hunter moving to the 4. But the point is, like, Gallinari's only started like one game a year for like the last like 3 years. So you definitely don't want him starting. 2K doesn't have this stuff applied. I could probably just take this off of him. And I think this was applied when...
Yup, I used the same process. Emoji thumbs up.
I think these two guys were both hurt at the same time this year, or when Trae Young was briefly sidelined. I think that was why I did it, because like Lou Williams starts in those instances. But there are other, so I could check other teams and come up with better examples of that. Yeah, here. Also, because it's not always based off the overall rating. It's looking at it's looking at the coach profile also to determine, like, it'll prioritize certain guys. Like with the Sixers, Sixers are a good example. If Seth Curry and Matisse Thybulle are both two guards, then like Doc Rivers will start Thybulle over Curry because he prefers like defensive players or whatever.
That patch broke the Suns and Grizzlies.
Even if Curry
they don't shoot 3s in games anymore, lol.
Even if Curry has like a 5-point higher rating. That came up a lot with like Zaire Smith used to start over JJ Redick, things like that. But yeah, 2K doesn't do that. So if we actually just hop into their roster for a couple LOLs. This is the roster from Play Now that 2K updates daily. Okay, so
do you have LaMelo as secondary position to small forward?
Let me just check and make sure. Did Clint Capella come back? Okay, he came back yesterday.
Lol.
Or he came back the last game. He didn't start. Alright, so I can reactivate him. But I digress. Here's the 2K's rotation for this team. Let's sort. Boom. Alright, Bogey starts. That's fine. Let's do another team and see where things become problematic. I mean, this is like, there's no way that this lineup will stick after I adjust, right? Rebuild. Yeah. Rebuild. Whoops. We got Marcus Smart coming off the bench with Enes Kanter as a 6-man. Bro. I
Man, this season is crazy. Never though IDC Caruso play the 4. Braun played the 5, 4, 3, and 1.
Hero starts over Duncan Robinson.
2K is extremely lazy.
This is another good example of the coach stuff fucking things up. Oh my god. These guys are all hurt. Jalen Green off the bench. Poku at the starter. Poku was just sent down to the G League last week, so I mean. Dennis Smith starting over Anthony Simons because of positions. Otto Porter catching starts right now, but not in real life. Bielitsa starting over Kevin Looney. And Harrell starting over Dan Gafford. KCP out of the rotation. So yeah. That's probably the number one thing I've done in my roster is update everybody's.
Despite 2K's roster flaws, they've done better than previous years. At this point of the season in previous years, players like Patrick will.
Players like Patrick Williams will still be active. I mean, they haven't been that bad. You know, Patrick Williams obviously has been out for the entire year. They did have Rui Hachimura out for, or not out, but healthy. Technically, he was healthy. He was away for like personal reasons, so they never bothered to sideline him. And again, I don't know. Nobody knows what those issues were, so maybe they had a directive to like not do stuff to make light of the situation, whatever it was. What am I doing?
Add Waria, yes, a little better.
Okay, let's reactivate Capella. I'm still gonna do Okongwu because he is a key part of the rotation. Basically the 8th man on the team. Where was I think I was pretty close to done on him anyway. 85 hustle. I'll check that in a second. Yeah, I think 85 is fine. He's a big man. Kind of curious. Hold on, let me set this up. Okay. A 90 default durability. He played 50 of a possible 72 games last year, which is 69%. And missed a bunch of time this year. He's only played 13 of 45. So yeah, I think 70 is pretty reasonable. Yeah, that's what I thought. 96 pick and roll defense.
One player that is hard to get into rotation is Mo Harkless. A lot of force no start.
Well, Mo Harkless isn't even in the rotation anymore, I don't think, right? Mo Harkless wasn't, like, the Kings weren't that hard to play around with. Because basically it's all about where you've got Harkless position-wise. So earlier in the year, I had Barnes as a 4 and Harkless as a 3.
Yes, no, Mo.
Because that's basically what they were, how they were subbing them. But now that they've gone back to Bagley in the starting lineup, I've got Barnes as a 3, and then I've got these guys behind him. So for depth purposes, rather than have a 4th small forward, we switch Harkless over to the 4, where he's basically the 3rd string 4. But basically all you needed to do was, if you had him at the 3, you just have forced non-starter on Buddy Hield by default anyway, because he's their 6th man, and just like ditto for Davis. Or it even gets easier if you have one of these guys at the 2. Kings are a weird team. I can't wait for the deadline to break up like some of the garbage roster construction that's kind of a holdover from the offseason. Alright, but 76 for Okongwu at the moment.
You think Fox is gone?
It depends. Depends on whether or not Simmons moves. Obviously they could be part of a deal. Stuff like that has been reported, but I think that teams that, a lot of the league is in a holding pattern, waiting for a Simmons trade. No team is going to want to move in their chips for De'Aaron Fox and then miss out on a Ben Simmons, I think, would be a fair expectation. Oh, all right. Oh, sorry, I'm all over the place right now. All right, finishing badges. 304. Okay, so a couple badges added this year. Lob City finisher. This is dropping down to a bronze. 2K generally overrates a bunch of players in this badge. Grace Under Pressure is a new badge, and so is Rise Up. I think Rise Up's totally reasonable. And Grace is kind of like a sure. It's a big man badge. That's pretty much it. Shooting, nothing. Playmaking, nothing. Finally, it takes... Basically, all of the non-centers have glue hands or bullet passer. Worth noting, it does not have putback boss. I'm going to probably throw that on. And could he get Fearless Finisher? Yes. Alright, shooting, nothing. Playmaking, nothing. Defense, Silver Hustler is fine. Bronze, Chase Down, Bronze Pogo, and then of course doesn't have Rim Protector. He's got Rebound Chaser. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to fucking work on right now. Hold on. I'm gonna give him Worm and like Bronze. I'm gonna swap out Rebound Chaser for Box Out, pretty much. Post Lockdown he doesn't have. He's got a great assist, not assist rate, a steal rate for a center. Well, last year he did. This year kind of fell off a little bit, but the interceptor's probably fine on him. Fearless Finisher. Putback Boss. And then we're downgrading Lob City. Then jumping right over to defense. Interceptor.
Do you watch a lot of NBA games?
I watch a lot of highlights. I don't know if I watch full games that much anymore. You know, full games are just kind of an inefficient way for me to consume content. You know, based on, like, all the stoppages in play, there's a lot of dead time in an actual game, commercials obviously, etc. I prefer to watch like breakdowns and stuff, like the stuff on Thinking Basketball. Really useful, or it's like breaking down the players' tendencies and kind of illustrating what they do on the court, how they function within a game. That's all, you know, more informative than, you know, I don't have an eye for I'm not, I didn't play basketball at a high level. I couldn't tell you like I can't tell you, a player's releasing the ball on his jump shot wrong or anything like that. So me watching a game is, I'm just for the most part going off the announcers, like everybody else. And if you watch anything on ESPN, the announcers are there more for entertainment value, more so than like they're an analytical approach to the game. So
Same
yeah,
here.
I don't consider it like a high value. I love basketball podcasts and stuff like that. So yeah, I really only watch basketball games when there's something important going on. Like I watched the Klay Thompson game. That was obviously a huge um, basketball event, but also highly relevant just to see Klay in action. Get a read on like after 2 years off. Where is Rim Protector? Oh, top. Okay. I'm gonna boost that to a silver. He is a good shot blocker. I don't know if I'm giving him. Yeah, I'm gonna give him post lockdown also, just a bronze. But that basically gives him one of each of the post defensive, like big man defensive badges. More or less establishes him as a positive defensive player. So we doubled his badge count. And we boosted his rating 1 point. That's relevant because that ties him with DeLon Wright for the number 2 bench player. Oof. All right, we got to get. Well, okay. So we do that for the moment. I think ideally. All right, so this is where me dropping TLC a point hurts because ideally I would want TLC in this 9 spot. I think. I don't know how far away he is from that. Because now I've more or less done the Hawks like rotation, rating wise. So now let me see how far away he is. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven mid-range points. All right. So what can we do? We can tweak that up. We can tweak the close shots. This is the 1 year that he's actually any good. We're gonna boost that to a 60 for the moment. Okay, now we're 5 mid-range points away. Consistency, 65 and 55. And then help defense is a 60.
Thanks man, catch back up with you. I saw you editing pick roll defense earlier. Can you not edit that in the roster creator detailed view?
Correct. Quick edit. Pick and roll defense has not been in the quick edit menu in like the last 3 or 4 years. So you have to manually do it. And as soon as they took it out of the quick edit, they stopped like updating it on an annual basis anyway. So I don't even understand why it's like still in the game, to be honest, but
I never noticed.
Yeah, Timo's. Okay, woof. Alright, I think I overcompensated a little by having him this low at a 60 for help defense. We're just going to do that, and that solves the problem very quickly. So my reason for overcompensating possibly related to last year. I needed to get his rating lower because otherwise he'd be starting over whoever was the starting small forward on the team that year. Joe Harris or something, or he would have been in the rotation. He fell out of the rotation with the Nets last year, so who was playing over him? I already forgot what that team was. Yeah, who were the small forwards? They traded Prince. Oh, Bruce Brown. Okay, there you go. All right, but 75 for TLC. This should help a little bit. Let me do that. Okay. I don't know if I want to take him up to a 76. I think that's pretty questionable. Maybe we just got to get Dieng down. But I'm not going to do his badges. We could probably just figure that out just from his actual play this year. Well, I mean, here's the problem: is like Dieng's actually been playing well for like the last 5 years. Really, his whole career he's been solid. Like I don't think I would drop him below a 75. This is
Do you
just
know
like,
whether or not PNR defense IQ still affects the game?
offhand, I haven't tracked it. Yeah, I don't think I want to drop Dieng at all, actually. So yeah, maybe the answer is just like get TLC to a 76. But I doubt that's gonna happen. Maybe it could. We did raise his health by 15. That attribute does count for a lot. Alright, I mean 9 points of mid-range. We had 7 to make up before. We basically made it all up with one attribute. So I'm gonna bump this to like a 60. No, that's a 60. All right, so his on-ball defense. Let me look at that. Not great. Yeah, not great. Okay. Definitely more of a help defender. I think I am actually going to give him an 80 in the help defense. This is kind of like the role that most small forwards have defensively. They're kind of in the helper role, like Danny Green, but not necessarily a good like point of attack defender. Shot IQ I didn't look at. It's basically the same as last year. I think I get the 5 points that I was going to give over here. I think I'm going to do. Let's dive back into his shooting stats. 6 for 13 from close, huh? We're down to 4 mid-range points. What else? Not really anything else in his statistical profile that we can use. I'm going to throw a Hail Mary and look at his post defense. Yep, nope. That's what I thought. Okay. So now, really, we would have to. I would be looking at badges to get him across the finish line. Actually, I'll throw another Hail Mary and see if this 35 hook shot is too low. I think it's fine. All right, yeah, all right. We're now in drawn blank territory. He doesn't really have any interesting shot types. Well, okay, I got something. Corner specialist can go to silver. Last year his numbers were not good. This year he's 46% of his threes are from the corner, and he hits 49% of them, which is basically what he did with the Nets in 2020 to earn his contract. So, like, sure, I'm going to actually make a couple notations. 2020 equals silver, 2021 equals bronze, and then this year he's back to silver. So that might help a little bit. Okay, let's check out his spot up stats. Maybe we give him a couple more. Nope, he stayed at bronze, but maybe a couple more shooting badges, I think. Might be in order. Actually, no. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it up defensively. So I think we're just giving him the bronze hustler. But now I'm drawing a blank on badges. Like, only 2 points away. Oh my god. We're right there. The fact that mid-range shot counts for so much of a player's rating in the year 2022 is a problem. That should solve the problem. So I just want to go on the record that I don't really agree with TLC rating 1 point higher than Dieng or Williams. I think they're both in like the same kind of tier of like Actually, I will recant that. I think the way that the team is constructed right now, this rating makes sense. Because TLC would have, with Cam Reddish around, TLC would have been the third string small forward on this team when healthy, but Cam Reddish is no longer around. And Kevin Knox is not playing over TLC, so I think that over time this 76 will kind of like stabilize, and he's more or less going to be part of the rotation moving forward, at least until, we'll see what happens after the deadline. But guys like Dieng, I do think that Dieng is good. I have not edited him yet because I know the second I do, he's going to like rate over Okongwu, and the center overall in general is kind of problematic in this game, and I'm already mitigating him a bit by having his intangible so low. But kind of ditto for like Lou Williams. There's like barely any point in adjusting Lou Williams' ratings because they've already been. He's got 30 badges, and I would have to I'm not like super enthusiastic about going in and ripping a bunch of badges off of Lou Williams. Like realistically, gold green machine, that's got to go away. That could go down to like a bronze. Did it for like a bunch of these, probably just be silvers. Yeah, I think I'm happy with where the Hawks are at right now. I don't think there's anything that I really need to tweak with like Trey or Collins. I will take a cursory glance at their production. Capella's been out for like the last couple weeks or so nothing really to see there. We'll actually boost this up. This has been trending up the entire year. And so I drop his. What did I drop his badge to? A bronze? Or he's just a bronze default? Alright, so let's make a couple notations. Default equals bronze. 2021 equals gold, if not Hall of Fame. Yeah, we could tentatively say that Hall of Fame equals, or his last year was at least a gold. Alright, so I'm going to boost up that to a silver. I think everything else on Trae Young's probably fine. Let's look at John Collins. He was shooting the 3-ball pretty well, 43%. He's pretty consistent. Nothing really has changed much in the last year on him. See, I'm not compelled to really change much. We already did all the other guys on the team. I'm not touching Capella because he didn't play. The other guys I did yesterday. Alright, talks are done. Saving and uploading, and then I'm going to get something to eat, and I might be back a little later once I have an appetite to do more. I'm going to be working on the heat a little bit, most likely. So stay tuned if you want to check that out. Thanks guys for watching, liking the video, etc. It all helps grow the channel and promote roster content. So I'll catch y'all later. Peace.